like flowers. Nerilim says few words, and even fewer words are spoken of the children of dust. You are quite the exception. Nerilim would not mention you unless there was some pressing matter of fate. You should speak with the wise tree yourself and learn of what has been foreseen. We care for the tree, making sure it grows strong and true. But we are more than just simple gardeners. It is an honor to be one of the chosen who meditate in the shade of Nerilim's wisdom, cultivating and bonding with its spirit. Nerilim is wiser than King Titarian, and older than memory itself. Nerilim's words of wisdom carry much weight with the Summer Court. Chosen by the Summer Court, I serve as one of many tenders to Nerilim. Occasionally I'm privileged enough to hear the wisdom of the great tree itself. Go with wisdom.
Careful where you tread, for these grounds are sacred.
The wise tree knows all of time, but shares it with no one. She sought to bring the light of truth, to save a village plagued, to find a cure for them, her quest, the Maid of Windermere. Test. She faced the evil maid enraged. She trembled with her wrath. Undo your evil magic now, or I will end this tale, I vow.
The great tree speaks to few. Consider yourself blessed.
The Ancient One is not ageless, like we say. Someday, even Nerilim will pass from this world.
Come closer, little curiosity. The curious one seeks a way to the Fae, but it has found its way to the boughs of the World Tree instead. Rest, Quickling, and I may study you. Look around you, and I am all that you can see. My roots spread across Dalantarth. My leaves read the winds from Frostbrine Coast to Alabastra. My family and I circle this world. We were saplings when your kind emerged from the dark, and we will grow with you until this world burns once again. My roots spread wide and deep, and I have heard what brought you here, but I cannot see where you go hence. The time of the Fae is passing. I must shelter them in their twilight, and protect them from the Prismere corruption that spreads in their kin. I know your needs, but the predators circle Issa in her nest, and I cannot allow another to enter. Issa's end has always been certain, buried beneath Prismere blades. I can only hold back the tide. But you, perhaps you can change the currents. Where you tread, you mark all you touch. Before I would help you, I must know. Will you be a kind gardener, or a careless reaper? Yes, but will it be for the better? I cannot stop you from trying, but perhaps I can guide your efforts. A tribe of trolls has been corrupted with Prismere. Their matriarch, Nash, has united the clans in the first step on the path of Dalentarth's demise. You can change this fate, but to what? In doing so, you may awaken a more dangerous threat, like your ally, Aelin Shear. She walks a dark and tangled path. A path you once walked together before you died. But your path is your own now. Defeat Nash, remove the taint of Prismere. Then I shall see who you are, if not who you will become. The last great Fey city, at once the birth of their dream, the throne of their great realm, and the deathbed of their kind. In thanks to High King Titarian, my boughs stand vigil over their city in their twilight. Only by my leave may visitors see them in their weakness. Aelin Shear is a mystery and a simplicity. She is focused in a way few quicklings are. Her dedication is true, but I do not know the cause. Together you have walked dark paths beneath my boughs. You knew one another before your death, or thought you knew each other. The troll matriarch. Prismere has corrupted her, making her cruel, cunning, and far more ambitious than her brethren. She bears the marks of the Tuatha, and she shares their murderous intent. I am as world trees have ever been since the dawn of time. I watch, I understand, and I remember. The fates of quicklings are very simple. Growing, consuming, expanding, dying, and always rushing predictably along your paths. You are unique among them. You decide your own direction. But does that mean you will choose anything different? Like the sun in the sky, they knew me when I was a sapling, and they will know me when I rot. But they will never know change, nor how to save themselves from their patterns. Only one Fae has ever truly changed, and he now leads an army to destroy your kind. Like the sun, but they will. Only one Fae has ever true. To creatures of flesh like yourself, Prismere is a powerful tool to harness magic. But to creatures of pure magic, like Tuatha or trolls, Prismere is so much more. To them, it is a curse, a blessing, and a rapture all in one. It drives them and consumes them. And to the weak-willed, it corrupts them utterly. I can no longer ignore the quicklings like your kind, who rush through the world, ever anxious, ever eager, ever evolving, but never changing. Fools. fools who hack at my roots and burn, and sometimes sages who hang from my branches and learn. The troll matriarch and her brood await at Haxi. Their corruption burns my roots and threatens our future. Walk your path and watch your ally.
Niralim speaks with few children of dust. Go with wisdom.
find you here. If you were anyone else, I'd say it was destiny. But in this case, it was that damned tree. He's got roots and branches all through this forest. He said we should walk this path together. Thought I could help you, or maybe that you could help me. The gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Fae, once spread from the forests of Dalentarth, across the plains of Erethel, and even through the deserts of Ditir. Between the madness of the war and the spread of man, Alfar, and Nome, the Summer Fae lose a little more ground every day. A tragedy for them. I've never met Nash. Trolls and Darkwolfar rarely invite each other to tea. But if she's matriarch of a clan, you can be sure that she's strong. And if she's so corrupted that Nerelim is nervous about her, then she must pose a bigger threat than most trolls. Let's not keep Nash waiting. Trolls aren't normally this well organized. Even the biggest clans never built dens this deep. What are doing here? If these trolls ever went on a rampage, they could destroy half of Dalentar. your end. Looks like the Tuatha have been working here for a long time. If they've come this far inland, we're all in grave danger. There's a time to talk and a time to fight. We need to keep moving. Be on your way. The Tuatha come to her. Nice work. I see you haven't forgotten how to handle yourself in a fight. Still, this is bad. I didn't think the Tuatha would reach this far. At least not so soon. Obviously, the Tuatha have bigger plans than just killing you. Infusing the trolls with Prismere, trying to bring the war to Dalentar? Neerlin was right to be concerned. Aren't I always? But have patience. For now, why not take comfort in knowing that you saved Neerlin and his forest? Go, talk to the tree. I'm sure he'll allow you into Issa. I'll stay here and finish off any remaining Tuatha. You can tell the old mossy log yourself. I'll be tracking down any other Tuatha that may have come this far west. I'll find you again when the time is right.
You return, and in your wake, Dalentarth blossoms. The flow is rearranged, now and forever. Nash's brood is at an end. You have destroyed what was written, and made a new fate for Dalentarth. Even your darkest ally walks a lighter path. And yet the Tuatha still spread, marching with Prismeer and pain. You have only delayed our doom. You have the power of an immortal, and yet the humility to ask for help. Little one, I envy your grace. You shall carry my blessings with you. You must know this, Quickling. The age is changing. Immortals are passing, and the future belongs to the young races. If there is a future to be had. Go, and stand at the heart of the She. There you will find Issa, and perhaps you will find wisdom as well. Nash and her brood would have spread across Dalentarth and brought the taint of Prismeer with them. So it forever was to be, until you set about to stop it. Only the path of your own choosing. Stand at the heart of the She, and if that path includes the gardens of Issa, I shall allow it. May your path be long and evergreen.
We've still a long ways ahead of us. Now, what is it that I can do for you? Widows, spare you. We've still a... Now, what is it that I can do for you? Widows, spare you.
My role is not to speak to mortals. Just keep them calm. You all possess a fiery temper.
Mortals are such passionate things. You exhibit such lack of judgment.
Welcome to the Gardens of Issa, home of the Summer Court and the warm heart of the Feylands. It is a rare occasion for us to welcome a child of dust into Issa, but it is equally rare that Niralim chooses a champion. Pleased to meet you. I am Chancellor to the High King. I pray you enjoy our hospitality. Truly a place of wonder, as it has always been and always shall be. Here springs the life well of Dalentarth, and the greater Feylands in all directions. It is a pity that some of our kind have fallen to such degenerative states, but we cannot shed a tear for their weakness. Too many mortals misunderstand the Winter Court. Our cold cousins are not evil, but merely evoke the darker truths of nature, from subtlety to decay. Perhaps it makes sense that children of dust are put off by those who embody their inevitable death, but it is regrettable that so many are misunderstood. We are the Summer Court, the very embodiments of courage, honor, and all things bright and proud. Some envious few in the Winter Court would call us arrogant and self-righteous, as well as all manner of other epithets. But remember, we are the ones who stayed true to tradition, while they turned to barbarism. The Tuatha find new recruits from our ranks. The ranks of the Fae were not always sullied by the presence of anything so coarse as the Tuatha. Once, the Summer and Winter Courts existed in harmony. But Gadflow perverted the Winter Court with talk of his new god, and from that poison, the Tuatha arose. The sapling of the World Tree bears centuries of great wisdom. Of course, long-lived as Nirlam is, it is still regrettably mortal. Even all greatest mortal wisdom cannot compare to the perspective given by true agelessness. Begging your pardon, of course. High King Titarian is Lord of the Summerfey, the font of all our wisdom, and first amongst the immortals. And since Gadflow tragically murdered the High King of the Winter Court, Titarian is the greatest and last true leader left of our kind.
Hello. Welcome. Please, come forward into the light of the font. Don't linger there. I need to see you. Closer. Ah, nothing noble about you. That must mean you're the one Erwin is expecting on the trellis. Go there, but be sure to retire to Felltown when you're finished. Once, the understyle was all around you, spreading from the garden's gates to the great trunks of the trellis. But that was before the mortals came. The gardens have been here since the first of our kind sprang forth. Only in the last few mortal years have we chosen to make it known to your people, with good reason. This is a safe place, and we intend to keep it that way. To that end, we ask mortals to adhere to the Peace Edict, which forbids weapons in the city. High King Titarian fulfills his role as our wise ruler. He gathers around him the bravest and most gifted advisors, and together they make up the Court of Summer. Like his predecessors, Titarian's goal is to maintain the Great Cycle, and to keep the balance that has sustained us for all these many seasons. It is a special district set aside for the young races. A haven, if you will. We encourage you to stay within its confines for your own protection. Do not worry. Felltown has the amenities that your kind need to lead a mortal life, such as merchants, a smithy, and a tavern for evening exploits. Every living creature in our world is part of a chain of death and rebirth, even the Fae. However, when we pass into the flow of our great cycle, we return again. Most mortals in Issa are stripped of weapons upon entering the city. However, there are a few exceptions. Ambassadors and guests of the Niralim. We do this for your own protection, of course. There is a fire in dustling blood that must be quenched by violence. I've never understood it. The king rules from his throne high above on the font, and he has done so for many seasons. You should know this, since you've been sent to speak with him. The font is older than everything around you. It is the origin from which we flow. If you search for the heart of Summer Court magic, you will find the font. There is little that mortals need to know about the trellis, for it is where the worthy await their moment before the High King. Everyone who stands before the light of the sun must prepare themselves, lest they be blinded. It is behind me, up the great winding stairs. Farewell.
The font's magic is too great to be possessed, but it can be controlled. The Lycian Grove is where we regulate its magic.
Your mortal ambassadors will not give up. It is both admirable and pathetic.
If you'll be so kind as to not disturb us in our reverie, it is the least you can do.
I've caught the voices of my old companions along the memory walk. Heard their whispers in passing.
If you want to see a remarkable sight, venture to the higher terrace after dark.
The maid, convinced of Olane's threat, agreed to free the town. The people offered thanks and praise, and quietly she went her ways. Once the ill were brought to health, and the villain had fallen by, good Olane returned to mortal ground, and gifted them with magic found.
You should come by town later tonight. That's when we children of the dust really show the Fae what it means to live.
Move along. I must not be bothered.
Hope you're here about the job. Demand is higher than ever. I'm just too busy to deal with anything else. It's safe, that's for sure. At least for the time being. I don't quite understand the Fae, but they definitely know how to keep a city quiet. I can sum up the war in one word. Folly. It is folly. You will see. Everyone will see. What do I know of Fae politics? I didn't even know they had a city until Gwen and I were allowed in. All I know is that there's opportunity here, thanks to the war. She's the general merchant in the United Merchants delegation down the road. We've been friends for years now, I believe. A good, honest one, that Gwenna. You think I like being confined to this cage? Think again. And after all we've done for them in this war... Ungrateful creatures. Sure. You want to know about me? It's understandable. You want to know who you're going into business with. A wise move. Very wise. My mother was a merchant in Rathir, and I learned the trade at her side. I took the apprenticeship with Gwenna Hand, mostly to get me into Issa. Now I'm on my own.
Not just anyone can enter the secret city of the Fae. Oh no. You need an ambassador's endorsement and written authorization, and that's just to be in the lottery. Those in the United Merchants are the lucky ones. Of course, once you see how much gold they actually make in Issa, you will no longer envy them. Making a fortune is what? These visitors come with obscene amounts of gold or treasure. They don't mind parting with it. My plan was brilliant. I created a blade, Fae blade, of course, that makes them authentic, something all of them had to have. That's all they care about anyway, Fae souvenirs. I called it the Honor brand. Truth be told, it's dull as a stick, but it's easy to make. Listen, if you can find the parts and make them, I'll pay good money. Fabulous, fabulous! You know a good deal when you see it. There aren't enough people like you in Issa. The Fae don't even use money. Can you imagine? Once you start forging the honor brands, bring them to me and I'll provide you with just compensation. There should be plenty of parts around the city. For creatures with no interest in possessions, they sure know how to collect a fair amount of junk. It's you and me, friend.
Please do not engage me. I must not be distracted in my role.
Get over here. We don't abide by strangers in Issa. In this city, everyone is family. If you want to get around the peace edict, you'll have to keep your voice down. It's better than the cellar crawl space I called home just 2 months ago, believe me. The Fae may be grumpy, but they've got nothing on giant rats. Not much to tell. Heard the war horn of the recruiters and packed my bags. Slipped out in the dead of the night, I did. And I'm proud of it. What good is fighting when the Tuatha don't die? Besides, I'm a businessman. I got my hand on a pass into Issa, and the rest has been waterfalls and walks by the river. It's not exactly the keys of Rathir, or even the hospitalis quarters of Edessa. But Felltown has its charm. If you find out what it is, be sure to come and find me. Well, technically, we're not supposed to carry or sell weapons in Issa, but I've found a few loopholes. As have you. If you're on the market for something deadly, I'm your man. Just don't go blabbing about it to the Fae. They've got buds for brains. You know, that neighborhood in the gnome city of Edessa where the poor live. Oh, it's a lot of fun. The dockside district in Rathir is a lovely place. If you're looking to have your throat cut or contract a nasty disease. Remember it next time you travel there. Bye now. The Fae They'd like us to stay out of the Understyle. That's their district. Our kind linger in the shadows of Feldtown.
If you're looking to buy armor, I'm the only one in Feldtown who's authorized to sell it. I'm Gwenna Hand, but my customers call me Gwen. I don't have many weapons to offer, on account of the peace edict, but there's still a selection to pick through. Have at it. Being here isn't good for business, that's for sure. I see the same damn 20 faces every day. But it's an honor for Britt and I to be here. Make no mistake about that. The Tuatha were intensifying their attacks against Mel Sinshir, the Bastion in the east. Of course, that's just rumors. I pray they're not true. My twin brother and I were entering the army to fight for the Alpha when I panicked. I couldn't. I'm not a fighter. I came to Issa instead. I'm not proud of running, but I'm much more useful here, as an unofficial ambassador of sorts. Not everyone's a fighter. This is where the Fae keep us so we don't blemish their pretty city. Can't say I blame them. We're an unruly and ugly lot, mortals. He's a dear friend from years ago. He spent time as my apprentice, but recently set out on his own. He sells authentic ritual Fae blades outside in the square. The Fae didn't have laws, at least not official ones, until we arrived. Now they insist that those of us who live in Issa must keep its peace. No weapons. You must be one of the special exemptions. Let me guess. Ambassador? Scholia Arcana? Could be anything. Nice talking.
Hello. Memory Walk is an unnatural place. Cursed by the Fae's false gods. I would avoid it if I were you.
You've been watching me long enough. What is it? Did I wrong you in another life, brother? I don't care to stay in one place for too long. Felltown sounded like a good opportunity, and an even better hiding place. I can't say the peace edict has hurt business, but it's not exactly easy to train students in blacksmithing without weapons around. I have no interest in this war between mortals and the deathless. It is a waste of life, and I have my own private battles to finish. It's as good a place as any, I guess. But after a while, people begin to remember you, and for someone like me, that's a problem. I prefer anonymity. Besides, could there be a better place to hide from this offensive war? The only weapons you find in a garden are the blades of grass. What you've no doubt heard is correct. I am the Holt-Fren. I forged Bolgan's Bane of the Kaled Coast, and many other legendary pieces. My youth was spent as a mercenary, but I have since renounced those ways. Unfortunately, my enemies have long memories, and they aren't as forgiving as I am. It is an ancient Alfar kingdom far across the sea in the dense swamps of Klurkon. I once helped its great lords overcome a terrible Bolgan problem. Let the Fae try to stop me from carrying arms in the city. Weapons are my trade, my only expertise. It would be like asking a hen to stop laying eggs. If you're willing to spare the gold, I can teach you what I know. In this battered old skull is a lifetime of knowledge, and quite a few stories as well. Goodbye.
Welcome to the embassy. You will see that every race has a representative in the city, even yours.
Let me guess. You're here to buy a title. No? A bribe, is that what you want? Listen to me. I'm no one's plaything. I apologize. Forgive me. Sometimes the work in this place is too much. I thought Issa would be different, but it's just another nest of snakes. I don't believe the Fae see the Losselfar and Dokulfar as separate groups. They tend to view the world in strict generalities, along bloodlines and origins. Sometimes working alongside the Dokulfar is difficult, but we have an arrangement. They adhere to their goals and methods, and we adhere to ours. The war is the only reason I'm not still resisting my appointment. Something must be done. You know it as well as I do. The Fae must help. Who knows our enemy better? You think I want to be here, stuck in this giant vegetable? Never. My mother volunteered me for this position, and I had no choice. I have a young soldier back home who waits for me. But can I be with him before he sails? No. I have to administer to the Fae. Do yourself this one favor and leave this place as quickly as you came. It's a den of deceit and malice. You don't want friends like these. I understand. Well, I can offer you the traditional Alpha titles that are available at the embassy. The Alpha are not only warriors, but the wisest of mages and scholars. If you embrace the arcane, then this is the title for you. I proclaim you the Muse of Fate. Bye then.
Our days are hard petitioning the court, pleading with the High King. Whoever said an ambassador's life was easy?
I apologize, but one of my station has many obligations to attend to. Please, excuse me.
Welcome to the embassy, young one. I am Scholar Icob of the Domus Politica. What brings you to my chamber? We have a unique interest in the Fae, but I cannot explain further. I will say this. Their supposed immortality poses a problem to all mortals. The scholars in Odessa have a keen interest in gaining High King Titarian's trust and cooperation. There's so much to learn from him. We find them endlessly fascinating, in their ambition, in their magic, and in their disregard for the natural order. We could learn much from such creatures. There's much to be gained from an alliance with the Summer Court, although I can't say I enjoy working with Fae directly. They're too set in their ways, too rigid. They've already grown and changed. The Tuatha themselves are a new breed of creature, a fascinating amalgam that should be explored. I have no love for the other races here, if that's what you're asking. The Varani are coarse and brutal, while the Alpha are scheming and treacherous. The Allmain, well, they don't leave much of an impression, if I must be honest. I'll forgive them for their blandness. After all, they are so young. I've had a long career as an ambassador with the Domus Politica, and as a clerk in the Grand Bursas. But the real work will be done out here, in the wider world. A flighty creature. During my audience with the king, he forgot my name not once, but twice. It was insulting. But did he notice? Never. Until we meet again.
What do you want? Aren't you bold? This is the Varani wing of the embassy, and few venture here without being summoned. I'm Ambassador Odvar, he who bloodies the waters. The High King knows why we are here, yet he does nothing. Our people die at the hands of the Tuatha, Fae, but the Fae themselves show no remorse. Titarian and their Summer Court will know our anger, and they will aid us or perish. I have served my people for 40 years, in war and in peace. Now I serve here, in the gardens. It is here where the important battles are fought. The Battle of Wills. I have lived in less hospitable places. The Fae may not understand what it means to be mortal, but they certainly have an eye for beauty. I enjoy being this close to those I'm competing against. That's what this is, isn't it? A conflict in which we struggle to gain the ear of the Fae. As always, the Varani will triumph. Leave me to my business. Hello, I am Ambassador Calder of the Almain. We may be new to the region, but we are just as involved in matters of the Fae and the war. It is simply an honor to be here. We Almain are doing our part for the war effort, but there are plenty of other relationships to forge far from the battlefields. Like most of my kin, I have humble roots. My parents were both trappers on the Snaketail River, feeding much of Whitestone Village back before it fell on hard times. Despite my position as lead ambassador to the Summer Court, I am an outsider. There is bad blood between some of the races. As a result, I try to steer my own course. I do not wish to speak ill of other diplomats, but Ambassadors Keen and Brenner of the Alfar and Varani are plotting against each other, as if we need more deception. If that is your wish, you are now stripped of your current station. Would you like a new one? Buying a title will grant you the honor it demands. Court heralds will address you by your appropriate position. The Almain are new to diplomacy, but there are still several powerful titles available for purchase. One who takes this title is the guardian of all they see in this city. That is a great responsibility. I proclaim you the Chief Protector. Carry on. Then we must do what needs to be done.
Perhaps we must finally swallow our dignity and draw our swords. Quiet. We must not discuss this further in the open.
Have you noticed how the gnomes never seem to exit their branch of walls?
Welcome. You must be the special messenger Tatarian's expecting. Trust me, the rest of us have heard plenty about it. Erwin can't keep his big mouth shut. I am Methani Keen, Dokalfar ambassador to the Summer Court Fae. I'm sorry. This is a difficult position sometimes. Issa is fine, and the Fae are tolerable, but many believe they should do more to support the war effort. It's unjust to live in peace while the rest of the world burns. They are a council of Fae nobles that advise the High King in matters of politics. Not that they even understand what that means. To them, politics is just a game. Well, more of a game than usual. You understand my meaning. This is where the Fae hide us to keep us out of sight. I used to take offense, but I got over it. I wouldn't want to live near them. Strange things, the Fae. I've met with him several times. I'll admit, he radiates a certain presence. but I'm less interested in charisma than I am in leadership. Not everyone is welcome up there. It's where the court of summoned nobles spend their time reminding themselves of past glories. I'd avoid it. Something is about to happen, and it must be stopped. But that is all I can say. This is neither the time nor the place. If you're interested in hearing my story, meet me in the worship circle after dark, near the gates. I will wait for you there. This is not the place. I will meet you in the time and place I specified. Goodbye.
Welcome to the embassy. You will see that every race has a representative in the city.
Mark my words. The Summer Court will end its neutrality by its own hand.
There's
Or someone else's.
in Feltown.
Bought a title yet? The Fae like us to stay out of the Understyle. That's their district. Our kind linger in the shadows of Feltown.
Turn away, mortal. The Den of Night is meant for the impudent. Your entrance shall be denied. It's a great privilege for mortals to reside in this, our most sacred dwelling. Try to deny your dustling impulses and resist from killing each other. My own telling has brought me here to the gardens of Issa, to act as one of its guardians and caretakers. I'll protect it from any threat, including you. It is where the brazen and unrepentant are sent to consider their crimes. Must I point out that the Den of Night's occupants are almost always mortals? They are given time to reflect, and when they are ready, they may brave the beasts of the Hollow to return to us here on the surface. Avoid the Den of Night, Dustling.
Presenting His Highness, Chief Protector of Issa. Welcome to the Mortal Tavern. I believe they call it Asker's Alley.
If you're looking to drown your worries at the bottom of a bottle, this is the place for you. I'm Gurturn Asker, and this is my establishment. But if you're looking for the Victor's Brew, we don't sell that in Asker's Alley, and you'll have to take your business elsewhere. The ambassadors requested that facilities be created where flesh and blood folks could put their feet up. Not that the Fae know what that means. So the All-Main approached my family about starting a tavern. The alley does well, but I'm no businessman. I know better than to criticize the Fae. They call us children of dust. We treat them like people, but they're like no people I've ever met. This city has been here for thousands of years. Longer than that, even. It will be here long after we're gone. I wouldn't say I ran from the war. I just don't need to know every little thing that's going on. There are other ways to help. Getting folks drunk is one of them. There's a brewery near Rathia that makes it. Very small, very secretive. But they've found their niche, that's for certain. Cheap and powerful. It's not a drink for the man who appreciates craftsmanship, tradition. It just helps the soldiers forget all they've been through. Oh, yes, sorry. The United Merchants Delegation. It's a coalition of traders that have been granted permission to sell their wares in Issa. It's the most popular drink in Amalur, at least it is now. My Asker's Ale used to be the preferred beverage, but every day brings more cancelled orders. My brother and I are working on a new drink, but it requires something special. Wait a minute. Maybe you could help. If you do, I could see to it that the merchants in Issa treat you well. So here's what we're thinking. Bring back our grandmother's favorite Asker's Draft, a classic. The recipe calls for bristletongue seeds, and if you're talking rare ingredients, bristletongue tops the list. It's worthless for potions, but tastes fabulous. The problem is that the Fae control the use of bristletongue, as it's a product of the Font's waters. Talk to Jackson, their apothecary. He can probably get it for us. It's been in our family for 4 generations. Since the days of Almir the Bold. Our grandmother entrusted us with the formula, and we made a fortune from it. But I'm afraid we've been replaced by a new drink. King Almir? Almir the Bold? The founder of our people's nation? I'm sure you've heard of him before. We're named after him. He spends his time in the Lyceum Grove and the Understyle section of town. He's an odd duck, always crafting new tonics. Some advice? Don't drink any. Good luck.
This one's for my brother.
Be warned. There is a peace edict in the gardens of Issa. No disturbing the peace.
Have you seen Lady Wenry? She's more beautiful than I imagined. And to think, she spends her days
Be warned. There is a peace edict in the gardens of Issa.
Normally you wouldn't find me reveling in an all-main tavern, but the city has few options when it comes to drinks.
You look like one who enjoys a game of hexes. We mortals need something of our own here in Issa. Why can't it be gambling? If you don't know how, I can teach you. Folks here have gold. That's enough for me. I don't care where I find myself, just so long as the people there are willing to pay. What do you want to know about me for? Is this some kind of Fae interrogation? Keep your curiosity to yourself, friend. Not much to do here in the Fae City, but lighten your pockets and have a good time doing it. But I jest. You have a lucky look about you, stranger. You had a look about you. Listen, all you need recall is these 6 cards here in my hand. Ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and the hex. First, you start with an ante. What'll it be? In my hand, there's an ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and a hex. 6 cards all mixed up. First round, you guess even or odd. If you're right on a hex or an ace, you take the pot and we're done. Right on any other, and it's on to the second hand. Hand number 2. I'll pull another card, guess if it's higher or lower than the first. Get it right, you win. Simple as that. Bold, I like it. Now, will the card I draw be even or odd? Yes! The card is a deuce. No luck. Yes, let's. Right then, ante up. Bold, I like it. Now, oh, what's this? The hex. I knew I had you hooked. Bold, I like it. Now, will the... And... It's a 3. You got it. Now, place your bet. Now that's some real coin on the table. Now, make your guess. Second card, higher or lower than the first? Higher, you say? Ah, it's an ace. Couldn't get lower. No win. I knew I had you hooked. Bold, I like it. Odd? Ah, but this... Yes, let's. Right, bold, I like it. The card is... a deuce. Yes, let's. Right, bold, I like it. And it's... an ace. You win and the pot's... You'll be back.
Don't you know who I am? You wouldn't speak to me so openly if you did. My place is prowling the Feylands in search of a worthy challenge. Not here, petitioning fools about issues that do not concern me. There is no more important nature than that which lusts for battle. Creation and destruction are sisters in the great cycle, both necessary to maintain the balance. I am the flame that blackens the dirt, the smoke that blocks the sun. My time in the Withering War was my finest hour, but those seasons are long past now. The Summer Court would not stand for the mortal ambitions of Own, King of the Winter Court. So we burned him, as we burn a dying forest in need of mercy. You fell persons are ignorant, aren't you? The Great Cycle is what gives balance between the eternal conflict of growth and decay. When every Fey passes, he is reborn. As long as the Great Cycle persists, this world we share may continue to refine itself on a path to perfection. We adore him in every guise, yet he has a wistfulness that I do not understand. There is no fire in him, only a peaceful pool that goes deeper than any of us realize.
Have you ever been up to the trellis? I hear the view is amazing.
Hey there, pretty. This is Aska's Alley, best tavern in Issa. Only tavern in Issa, of course, but you didn't know that, did you? If you're new in the city, I can help. I know everything. About the Understyle, the Embassy, the Scholia Arcana, you name it. I know it all. We provide your basic public service. Ale. And if drinking isn't your thing, then you can always stop by the Hexes game and back. Oh, that's a sinister spot, isn't it? Even the Fae take a few extra steps to walk clear of there. Don't trust anyone in robes. It's the Fae neighborhood on the other side of the city. There you'll find the Hall of Appointments and the Lyceum Grove. They don't mind if you go exploring in the Understyle, but I wouldn't suggest it unless you know your way around. The Fae can be easily offended. So you want to brush up on your bad luck, do you? That game will do it for you, all right. Speak with Kali in the back. The Oscars took me in when my pa was killed in the war. That's been nearly 10 years. Now this is my home, pretty. It's where you'll find me every day and every night. Is that the one at the far end of the Understyle? Yeah, I think that's the place. Never been there, but folks say that's where the Fae make the waterfalls. You see, the city gets its magic from the water. They call it the fountain. Or is it the wellspring? I never remember. I'm sure it's just a story anyway. When Issa first opened, the Alfar approached the humans about creating a shared shop so people here could get their sundries. All of this was lost on the Fae, of course. Most of the United Merchants are good people, like Wystron and Gwenna, but that blacksmith's apprentice, Britt Codgan, he's a leech. Oh, if I had the finery and manners, you wouldn't find me anywhere but the Embassy Hall. I'd even buy a title. But it's a dreadful place these days, what with the war. The Darkofar and Varani are practically at arms over their differences, and everyone speaks in a whisper. I prefer the United Merchants delegation. Those are my people.
Sure, we've got a place to sleep on the floor over there, but it'll cost you. Fine, it's up to you. Like I said, it's all magic to me. If the Fae said this city got its power from glowing purple antelopes, I'd probably believe them. I'm just a hostess. Olana and her squire Brio, they have the good fortune to meet with all the nobles who visit the High King. A life of lords and ladies. Oh, that's the life for me. Let me just say that I adore Olana. She's one of the few Fae that I've met face to face, and she couldn't be more pleasant. Such a pretty one. Bye now. Need some chatter? I've got plenty to go around, pretty. Bye now.
I'll drink alone.
Obey the edict.
Don't bring your dark here to Isa.
Oh, excellent. Another... Oh, a mortal. I don't think I could... Well, perhaps I might. Yes, of course. Why not? You, Dustling, how would you like to make some of your shiny, bright metal? What's it called? Ah, yes, gold. How would you like some of that? Few Dustlings ever make their way to these gardens. I believe they fear us, as they fear the elements. As they should. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not like to be called Dustlings? She is well suited to her role as the Lady of Receivership, as she enjoys judging the worth of others. She has assessed me as well, and I have been found lacking. I am steward of the High King's list, and apprentice to the Lady of Receivership. Olana will be so displeased once she finds out I failed her so. I enjoy my role as steward, but my fear of Lady Olana overshadows any pleasure I might find in the tasks assigned to me. She is quite critical. Well, I've never met him, of course. Such an honor is not granted to squires. But they say he is quite incredible. As tall as a tree and radiating a great light, as though a sun burned within him. The birds sing to herald his glory. My role is with the Hall of Appointments, to prepare visiting ambassadors and dignitaries to meet with the Court of Summer. Right now there are 4 terrible, regal lords and ladies that wish to see High King Tatarian, but they are a fickle lot and require extra, handling. They must enter the font in a procession, but each has his or her own preferences, and I can't afford to offend any of them. Wonderful. That's one less aggravation that demands my concern. Thank you, mortal. The dignitaries have been seen about the gardens, enjoying its many splendors. I will remain here and await your advice. Everywhere. Goronet is in the Hall of Appointments, but the others are all over the city. What a nightmare. Goodbye.
Keep with your own.
Presenting His Highness, Chief Protector of Issa.
Yes? Oh, a mortal in the understyle. This is indeed a treat. Come closer. I seldom see one of your kind so far from Felltown. It may be difficult to believe, but the city was once inhabited only by Fae. The understyle consisted of everything growing beneath the font. Now this important section of the Issa is but a dark corner, all but forgotten. I am the steward of tinctures and elixirs. A meaningless title, one I gave myself, actually. But my work is vital, as is my role, to test the font's magic. I enjoy the mortal world immensely. It adds such texture and color to our experience. Now and then you might find me in your dustling district, taking in the bustle. This is where we watch over the font, the source of magic in the gardens of Issa. It is a fountainhead that is nourished for as long as this world has been. The font's flow can be measured, directed, and even regulated, depending on the needs of our people. Font Master Nomoran attends to these duties. He has the role of monitoring the font's flow throughout the city and the Feylands. His telling is not to be envied, as it is one of our most important. Font Master Nomoran insists that everything flows as it should, yet I have seen his worry, and I feel the magic weakening. Strange forces are at work. Bristletongue, my moy, that would be something. A mockingbird with the font's only yield. Of course I will tell you where it is. What would be the fun in refusing? But before I do that, you need to offer me something. Isn't that how you mortals act? One deed for another? As steward of tinctures and elixirs, I often dabble in alchemy, especially with the water from the font. And I need you to drink this potion. Good. I will know what this does to the mortal constitution. Go on, big gulps now. None of that sipping. Goodbye.
Presenting His Highness, Chief Protector of Ether. Presenting His Highness, Chief Protector of Ether.
If it isn't the mockingbird, come in, come in. It's always good to hear a fancy chirp. Didn't you speak to Barrett? The bristletongue is outside the court of summer. Goodbye. Perhaps a touch more.
Greetings. Presenting His Highness, Chief Protector of Ether.
Mortals in Ether.
Sage Crafting Services here. I do hope you are staying safe, stranger. I wouldn't want you to tear that skin of yours or leave it to disease. It is the only one you possess. I am the attendant of the court's list, and the lady of receivership. I am trained in all aspects of courtly customs and stand 12th closest advisor to the High King. Your kind has tried for so long to gain access to this sacred place, to be near us. Yet here you all are, and I rarely see a single mortal in the understyle. What do they fear, I wonder? This is where those who seek an audience with the Summer Court must first make their claim. And once that claim is honored, I will prepare them for reception. The Fae fulfill roles in the telling, be it king or steward. If one wishes to ascend the heavens, one must abide by the laws of nature. Goodbye.
Glorious day.
May Hyria touch you. Our days are hard, petitioning the court, pleading with the High King. Whoever said an ambassador's life was easy.
Someday I hope to administer the Shrine of Initiation. Such an intricate bit of spellcraft.
Don't know if we've had the pleasure. I'm the finest merchant in these parts, I assure you. You can't just have a group of book-minded mages and expect the organization to take care of itself. They rely on people to look after the logistics, like me. When I first arrived here at the instruction of the Order, I was terrified of the Fae. They are nothing like us. Can't say that I have much in the way of magical ability, but I know trade better than anyone else here, and they appreciate it here. See you soon, I hope.
Who's this?
Well, happy to see an unfamiliar face. Scholia Arcana's close-knitted enough without being sequestered in Issa. I love the Order. Never felt more at home than among my peers. But I only wish there were more of us. Didn't know the Fae had cities, or whatever you might call this, until I came out here. I can understand why they wouldn't want to share it, though. If you do enough good works, the Scholia sends you to Issa. Apparently, they're keen on learning some of the magics of the Fae. Stop by again.
Damn quiet, damn fools. I'm sorry, friend, I didn't see you there. I'm afraid I'm a bit concerned. The finest practitioners of the arcane crafts on the continent can be found within the Order. There are many things we have learned from our time with the Fae, though their magic is quite unlike ours. I'm an experienced sagecrafter. My skills as a mage leave much to be desired, but no one knows stones like I do. A few nights ago, I was the victim of an attempted robbery. Someone sought to steal a gem of mine from a chest I warded myself. That night, 3 initiates fled the chapter. Cassera, Aloran, and Bertrand. I suspect they were somehow involved. They could only have run into the She. Can you find them? Someone attempted to steal a valuable gem from me, and on the very same evening, 3 of our initiates disappeared. Cassera, Aloran, and Bertrand. They're somehow involved in the attempted theft, and at the very least, in danger while on the She. Thank you. Find out what happened, and I'll be grateful. You've got to find them. There's somewhere in the She, I'm sure of it. There's 3 of them. Cassera, Bertrand, and Aloran. They must be in the She. Find them there. Goodbye!
Greetings.
Joram Quintus of the Issa chapter always has a wide stock of gems and shards.
Greetings. Welcome to the Issa chapter house of the Scholia Arcana. How may I be of assistance? We are a collective of mages, and those that have a mind to unravel the ethereal phenomena of these Feylands and beyond. The Issa chapter is but a small branch of our larger Rathir chapter in the plains of Erethel. We focus more on researching the magics of the Fae and Dalentarth than pure instruction. Despite Joram's frustrations, the wild magic of the Fae can be channeled in the most extraordinary ways. It is a great honor for us to be granted a place among them. As a docent of the Scholia Arcana, my duties involve handling all tasks necessary for the day-to-day administration of the Order's affairs in Issa. We are an order of magic practitioners dedicated to the fostering of knowledge regarding all things mystical and arcane. While the heart of our power lies in Rathir, we keep an embassy here in Issa to maintain strong relations with the Fae. Farewell.
Move along. I must not be bothered.
This is the trellis, gateway to the Court of Summer and His Excellency the High King. Welcome. Oh, you took me by surprise. I'm not accustomed to mortals on the trellis. Please, enter. I am Lord Saramer, the High Lore Sage of Issa. I am here to answer all questions regarding the House of Ballads and the House of Valor. We are the children of the fields and fountains, a fey body filled with a deep breath of magic. All that you see around you is ours. For many seasons we lived in these forests and canyons alone, distrusting, apart. But once we felt the call to join together, we became the Seelie. This sanctuary is where the knights of our most prestigious house stay when visiting the Court of Summer. I act as their humble scribe and servant. All Summer Fae clutch the glory of the House of Ballads to its collective breast, knowing that the deeds of one are indeed the deeds of all. It was one of the Fae's great houses until its leader was challenged and beaten, and the magic faded under the mortals' leadership. Now even the sanctuary here on the trellis is wilted and closed as a result of our great loss. Or perhaps it's a sign of something darker. By choosing to lead the Summer Fae, Titarian is eternally linked to our fortunes, both day and night. He feels the waning magic as a mortal might feel his heart sink at the sight of his sunrise. When our seasons end, Titarian will be the first to enter the long winter. It is meant exclusively for those close to the Summer Court, or the ambassador who wishes an audience with the High King. Our most honourable institutions reside on the trellis, including the House of Ballad Sanctuary and what was once the House of Valor Sanctuary. May good fortune follow.
May the stone sing your song to the ages. May the breath of time remember you. Listen. Listen as the echo stone etches each ballad in memory. Olaine thought to bring the light of truth, to save a village plagued, to find a cure for them, her quest. The Maid of Windermere, her test. Once the ill were brought to help, and the villain had fallen by, good Olaine returned to mortal ground and gifted them with magic found.
Welcome.
Greetings, Dustling. You feel it, don't you? The font's waning flow. You are intimate with the ways of magic. You're like me, youngling. You see the end. It has been located here for many of your generations, what we call seasons. Only in recent times has it been shaped to resemble one of your mortal cities. The Summer Court resides on the highest terrace, far above the rest of us, as it should be. As it is in every season, this family of Summer Fae has communed at the feet of its greatest leader, the High King Tatarian. The Western Faelands are our domain. Every season, one is chosen to attend the font's magical flow, to act as ambassador. I'm the only Fae to have held the position more than once. I feel the strength of the currents. They wash through me. They rise up and overflow. However, their power weakens. Their cool waters recede. It is the source of Summer Court magic and touches our realm of origin, the land of Ashara. Without its constant flow, our kind would dry up like leaves and vanish. Most mortals know nothing of what lies beyond the veil. The magical realm of Ashara. It is a mystery even to us, as we departed its shores many seasons ago. While wise and powerful, he's also brash and narrow. A sliver of light in a world so dark that most of us are blind. His inaction is no match for mortal ambition. Of the Gardens of Issa? Of the Summer Court? Why, this crystal war may be the end of all Fae. I know because I am Nomeron, master of the font, the wellspring of all Summer Court magic. I've seen it flow at its highest, but I've never seen it so dry. Something must be done before all this city withers into nothingness. The font is the source of all Summer Court magic. It has flowed through this mountainside since our kind sprang up from the dirt. That flow has waned in recent days. It's unnatural, even as the magic in the world grows. The Fae, it seems, will wither. The font's flow is controlled from the Lyceum Grove down below. We must open the root system and allow more water through. However, the magic that regulates this flow can only be used by some. It's protected by a ward known as the Waterlock. It can only be opened by one who carries drops from each of the 5 sacred pools surrounding Issa. Collect these drops, and you can break the Waterlock. The sacred pools are the collection points for the font's yield. Together, they cradle the Gardens of Issa. Keep it safe, powerful and hidden. You will find 2 of the pools below in the gardens themselves. One near the Ballad Sanctuary, and one in the Court of Summer itself. Collect water from each of the 5 sacred pools, and then go to the Lyceum Grove. This is where the roots can be opened to regulate the font's flow. Goodbye. Your place is below.
I don't know why Tatarian ever allowed mortals into the city.
Don't test
Yes? Welcome to the Gardens, mortal. But you have not come to visit the city, nor to speak with me. You are here on much graver errands.
I am only a visitor here like you. Perhaps I was drawn to this place by something greater than myself. Perhaps it was you. I can help you divine the role you will play in coming events, and the skills needed to finish that journey. We are a special breed, but you know that already. This is where the Fae of Issa fulfill their roles in the telling. You mortals call it work, but we see it as following the cycle, letting our nature guide us. Farewell.
No fighting in the city! Don't start trouble. How strange.
Your place is below.
No fighting in the city! Test me.
King is waiting for you. Please place the codex before him, and he will continue.
The king has taken notice. Now that's something. Welcome to the High King's court. Word travels fast, even among the Fae. Titarian's gone far out of his way for you. He must find you as intriguing as I do.
It's been a long time since I've been here. I heard about Haxi. Impressive work.
Conceived in chaos, birthed in stolen magic, torn from fate, child of two fathers, treacheries in treacheries, winter is broken. The puppet king upon his throne, drinking flattery and lies. The power that grows in him is not his own. In the east it did begin, as it will end. From behind the veil she screams. Madness and rage. Madness and rage.
We realize this may be confusing for you. Fate, like the Fae, cannot be changed. But the Tuatha are Fae who have become something new. And you are a mortal who is free from Fate's weave. Gadflow claims that the Tuatha are the work of his new god. If the Tuatha are the creations of a god, what does that make you? The time of the Fae is passing. Our land and our souls are diminishing. Few Fae even realize that the great cycle is shifted. Gadflow's war means the death of us all, Fae and mortal alike. It is written in the weave that we shall all pass from this world together. It is too late for us, but not for you. That is the fate which I look to you to change. Even with the power of a god, you have the humility of a mortal. Perhaps this gift has found the correct person. This is a time of great change. Change we once thought was impossible. We were wrong. You are intertwined with the power in the East. There can be no doubt of that. Your energy reaches back to Alabastra. We do not know what will happen when you travel there, but we know that the power behind Gadflow is your ultimate goal. His god holds your answer and the fate of this world. I thank you, and perhaps you can help change our world's fate as well. I have seen those who were destined to be heroes, for whom great deeds came naturally. They come, they act, and they pass on as written. You do great things not because you must, but because you choose to. That is by far a far truer greatness. You are right. No one can force this upon you. Such is the true power of freedom. But the Tuatha and their god will continue to seek you out, and they will find you. When they do, know that while you may be unbound by fate, death can find you still. To fight it, you must assemble allies. Seek their aid to assemble your forces. Only then can you hope to resist the forces arrayed against you. Our cold cousins across the sea. Do not think the Winter Court our enemies, for we love them as family, dismal though they may be. Oh, to walk in their starlit gardens once again, or sip their calming stone tea. But the Tuatha have consumed them, and all of their wonders are lost. It is the deepest tragedy that our fall should come from our own. Make no mistake, Gadflow is the harbinger of the end of my kind. In fighting him and his army, you will surely spell our doom. For that tragic truth, we forgive you. We are the dreams of warmth and safety, given physical form. But these dreams are endangered by Gadflow and the long winter. The summer and winter courts have always ruled the Feylands in harmony, as the seasons wash across the world. But with Gadflow's new god, something changed. The Winter Fae who followed him called themselves Tuatha, and bore a mark of Prismir upon them. Their power has grown, and yet they are diminished. Since our kind returned to this world so long ago, it has been my honor to serve as High King of the Summer Court. My rule was always shared with the High King of the Winter Court, until Gadflow arose. Now both of our people are in peril. The weave is a puzzle. Each person is a piece, the edges of their fate locking together with the people around them, all performing their duties to form a grand picture. However, you are no longer a puzzle piece. You are a dollop of paint. You cover and redefine the edges of the puzzle pieces you meet. But more dangerously, you repaint the picture of reality itself. Who can trust that your design is better than the original?
Who would have thought you were so interesting? Death seems to have worked out very well for you. Agarth's looking for escape, Neuralim's looking for a savior, and Tatarian is looking for a champion, and somehow, you're giving everyone what they want. I'm impressed. Agreed. We are facing more important problems than your ongoing identity crisis. The Tuatha have laid siege to the eastern city of Mel Senshir for years, and the time has come to break it. A few years ago, one warrior could have slipped past unnoticed, but stealth is no longer an option, not even for me. But there is hope. In the plains of Erethel there waits a player who has been away from this game for far too long. It is time to contact General Telera. Meet me in the village of Emer, and I will tell you everything. Be on your way.
I couldn't make out half of what the king was saying, but it sounds like you've got your work cut out for you. Good thing you won't be facing it alone. In fact, I think I've got a lead on finding an old friend of ours. Old Fomorus Hughes, of course. If anybody can help, it's bound to be the gnome who brought you back to life. I've been asking around, and I was able to make contact with his superior. He thinks he might be able to help find Hughes. No, he's a crafty one. If he got away from those assassins in the lab, like you said, I'm sure he found someplace new to hide out. And if anyone's likely to know where he'd go to find safe haven, it'd be the Templar who sponsored his work. His name's Octien. Go southeast to the Hollowlands. Templar Octien will be waiting there to discuss how you might find Hughes. Beautiful city, isn't it? You can see why they don't like letting most mortals in. Even the best of us make it look like a mess by comparison. You're not the only one on the hunt for Hughes. Octien has followed his trail to the Hollowlands in Detir. You'll want to talk to him.
It is my pleasure to serve.